Hey there everyone, That Sexy Nerd is back again, and I just got finished watching My Adventures with Superman, episode 7, season 2, which was actually pretty good, even though it was a little lacking, but it was still pretty good. If you want to watch it, go check out my Patreon, and the link in the description below. And I already watched one episode of Saberspark, the Mr. Bertram thing, and it will be coming up on here, but I think this will be coming out first because the episode is more recent. So the worst conservative cartoon ever, and I'm like, there were conservative cartoons? I don't know. Everybody knows my stance on conservatives and how they're, ruining the country, but I won't say anything else on that front. I've never really seen much conservative things that are actually really successful, to be honest. Any cartoons or shows that are actually successful. Apparently, I had no idea, but King of the Hill is technically a conservative cartoon, and that's like and if that's the case, that's the only successful one that I've ever heard of. I guess the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. I don't know. I don't know many things that were actually conservative and they were actually successful. It usually is lined up for failure. And now we got this Layla, I don't know what the heck these two things are, but from the last video, this guy seems to be fair. I don't think he's like Democrat or conservative. Liberal or conservative, but I think he's just calling out bad entertainment, which is fine. It's definitely, I'm sure it's definitely bad entertainment, so why don't we just get into it? And remember, please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content, and subscribe if you think I deserve this. And let's also check out my Patreon, and let's do this thing, y'all.
Conservative cartoons. A niche and bizarre genre of animation, to say the least.
Jesus.
Mr. Bertram, Chipchilla, the Tuttle Twins. All of them pretty bad.
Tuttle Twins?
But none of them hold a candle to the worst one of all.
Ew.
Leo and Layla.
What
a show that
hell?
tried to excuse slavery since everyone was doing it. Don't blame me. I'm just, doing what was cool at the time.
Oh.
How can you come here to the 15th
Ew.
century and judge me by your standards from the 21st century? For those in the future to look back and do this is, well, estúpido.
What? No. It's because you look bad and you chose the easy way out of doing your work instead of doing it and paying people yourself. That's why. Because slavery has always been bad, you moron. Slavery was down during the Roman Empire. We haven't needed it even back then. And what? You people still do it. So there's no excuse.
Captain! Yeah?
Oh my God.
Now, to be fair, saying Leo and Layla is the worst conservative cartoon is akin to saying that the Bronze Bull is the worst torture device in history.
Oh no.
That may be true, but it's still torture nonetheless. Would you rather crawl into a metal bowl with a fire lit underneath it and burn to death? Or would you rather watch 63 episodes of one of the most boring cartoons ever made? Put me in the bowl. Now, I heard about this series years ago, but only recently
I don't want to be in the bowl.
Watching it on my Twitch. Needless to say, I did not expect much. The series is about Leo and Layla, a brother and sister who use their time-traveling phone app to visit historical figures in order to get the real story.
Really?
The first episode I watched? Oh yeah, Christopher Columbus.
Oh!
My head is spinning. Why die on this hill? Most of us know Columbus as a controversial historical figure.
Yeah.
Yes, he was once remembered, but through rose-tinted glasses. We know better now of his actual story.
That he's a murderer.
It's not worth celebrating.
Nope.
The man was unequivocally a monster. There are multiple accounts from his contemporaries. Even from his own crew, where they are like, this guy is completely unhinged. Like, if I was Layla, I'd keep my mouth shut. Because the last time a woman spoke out against the Columbus family, They cut her tongue out.
Whoa!
And paraded her around town naked in the streets to be ridiculed.
And let's not forget, all the people he enslaved were destroyed. Not like enslaved, killed, and, then eventually left to their own devices. No! There were no more people on those islands, especially the Bahamas. No naturally born people anymore. All dead because of this mass murdering psychopath. This evil, disgusting figure. And people want to, just because we had Columbus Day, people want to celebrate him. No. He should be, not even people in Italy like him. So, you people, whoever still thinks that Columbus was a good historical figure needs to get a reality check.
But in Leo and Layla, Columbus is like, hey, bro, you can't judge me. I was just doing what was popular at the time. And when Leo and Layla are like, well, slavery is illegal now, Columbus is like, oh, what a relief. As I'm sure below deck lie the corpses of enslaved natives.
Exactly.
You see, you all have to understand, Columbus was a victim of circumstance.
Bullshit.
He
That is
was
such
not cut
bullshit.
off the hands of natives, watched them bleed out, and then paraded their corpse around town.
Yep.
Tossed the first stone. Hey, who threw that at me?
When it all comes down to it, Leo and Layla is an absolutely mind-numbing experience. Everything from the voice acting, the characters' animation, the characters' personalities, the dinky toy store type music, and the god-awful animation contributes to a melting pot of conservative mediocrity. Oh, hold on, wait, what was that? Those characters. They look so beautiful. And that animation, it looks so smooth. What is this? I must know who's responsible for this gorgeous display of creativity that lays before me. Well, it's Hoyoverse, with the creator of Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, with their latest masterpiece, Zenless Zone Zero, a game which releases on July 5th
By us and cover the game. You'll use your successful comments to come. You and your fashion, furry, and rendering. They are also developed back and get started on. So get ready to Hoyoverse response to Leo and Layla. For the record, I want to make it abundantly clear that I am here as an advocate of quality content. Left, right, secular, religious. If said program is not good or entertaining, then it's already off to a bad start.
Did you do Velma?
The culprit behind Leo and Layla is Prager University Foundation, aka PragerU, which is not an actual university despite its name.
It is not.
They're a conservative media and advocacy group that promotes conservative values via their articles, media, etc.
And ripping people off, really. And also, if you're on YouTube, you're inundated with these damn ads that talk nothing but bullshit. It is pathetic, man. It is absolutely annoying and pathetic. It's like nobody cares about this made-up history or bubble that you live in. Live in the real world. But no, too many people believe their stupidity.
One of said tendrils is PragerU Kids. Here, I'll let them explain.
But as you eat the roasted goose, your little
God.
spirit insists.
Hey, Dad, did you know America is racist?
Your mind goes numb, your skin turns pale, and your heart aches with fear.
It's not.
Your
It's
child is
true.
filled with lies, the babe you once held dear. But in that shocking moment, a man pops into frame. Could it be George Washington, here to save your child's brain? He snatched the screen and changed the thing, the something that is true. It's an app with shows for kids. They call it PragerU.
First off, this thumbnail, it's hilarious. I love it. Next, the ad's tone is almost satirical. Is America racist? Of course not, son. George Washington, you know about this topic since, you own slaves.
It's like they're saying they want They're actually believing the parodies. It's ridiculous. This looks like the people from Scary Movie shot a commercial. Not Scary Movie. From Epic Movie. From Date Movie. Those the Sonnenberg. Whatever the hell this guy's name was. The guy. It was. Ugh. It looks so bad.
In retrospect, maybe George Washington wasn't the best option for this commercial.
Nope.
Also, you can tell this was done for cheap because the guy voicing the commercial can't even afford a pop filter. He's like, Prager.
Think better, live better. Visit PragerUKids.com for free kids shows, cartoons, and books that teach classic American values.
So yeah, you can see the narrative and agenda right out the gate if it was ever in doubt. An option for kids to avoid the woke and watch good and fun content, like investing and stocks.
Really?
Yes, that's an actual thing on their website.
Really?
I'm sure the kids love this one.
I'm so glad he watches this stuff so I don't have to.
Now, Prager Kids has a few programs, but none of them are inspired or well made. It's mostly history lessons and investment advice. I shit you not, they even have their own lame version of drunk history called TBH History.
Oh my god.
Take away the booze and replace it with horse blinders.
Oh my god.
There it is.
And in 1848, a German
It's the same
philosopher
dumbass.
did just that. His name was Karl Marx, and he
Oh,
released a
God.
book titled The Communist Manifesto. Maybe you've heard of it, you know? A lot of people have heard of it. Some people read it. Most people don't care.
Now, their entire catalog has the production budget of a novice YouTube channel.
Seriously.
Sure, it's free.
They look like my
Maybe
videos.
Plus, but it's bad nonetheless.
They look like my
I also
videos.
still stand by that kids have zero interest in this stuff. Their parents, however, do. I understand parents who want their kids to learn and not become victims to a skibbity brain rot.
But they need colorful pictures. The adults need colorful pictures in order to learn things. Colorful pictures and pop-up books. Little coloring areas. There it is.
But these shows are no Magic School Bus, no Time Squad,
Nothing.
no Bill Nye,
Nothing.
certainly no Liberty Kids.
Jesus.
They are all just boring trash.
Liberty
Now, I'm
Kids.
going to do a proper deep dive about conservative cartoons and entertainment in the future.
Oh, please.
For now, let's talk
I'm
about
here
the show
for it.
this video is specifically about. Leo and Layla. Oh, I haven't brought up who made it? Well, that's because I can't find out. For some reason, they don't want to list themselves in the credits.
Oh, I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Because they're
Well,
trash.
at least we can deduce the purpose of Leo and Layla.
I'm sorry. Doesn't that look like the most boring thumbnail you've ever seen in your life? They're like literally not even doing anything. Looks like the kids of Mucha Lucha are doing mushrooms. You remember Mucha Lucha?
Why? Well, at least we can deduce the purpose of Leo and Layla.
Travel back in time with Leo and Layla's
Jesus!
History Adventures and meet influential people who proudly made America the great nation it is today.
You are amazing, Mr. Reagan. You saved everyone's lives and made them better at the same time.
Jesus.
Well, thank you, Leo.
Yep. Let's talk about a few of the episodes of Leo and Layla.
Those.
According
wow.
to the playlist on YouTube for Prager Kids, there are 63 episodes of the show.
Ew.
This includes episodes about Abraham Lincoln,
Ew.
Paul Revere, and Neil Armstrong, to name a few. There are also episodes about biblical characters, which feels a little misleading. We got Ruth, Moses, King David,
Ruth?
Jacob, and Abraham of the Old Testament.
Oh my God.
Listen, Bible stories are all well and good. VeggieTales took great care of me on that front as a kid.
I know, what the
But it
hell?
feels kind of off here.
Where's my VeggieTales remake? Why aren't these kids getting VeggieTales? Come on. That would have been so much better to teach religion. They did so much better. I never really watched VeggieTales that much, but because, it was after my time, but my sister kind of watched a couple episodes.
To be like, let's talk about Abraham Lincoln, a very well-documented man on multiple accounts.
Oh, boy.
Okay, now let's talk about Abraham from the Bible as just as objectively. The majority of Bible stories are more like parables, not verified facts. Now, is there history in the Bible?
Yes.
Yes, but the court is still out on Moses, unless you're talking about the monkey version of him.
No! At least you
It's been a
saw
while since
that.
we've done that.
Ugh.
Nostalgia critic, I see you. You're talking about my show. How dare you? I'm coming for you next, sir. YouTube beef? Let's
That's
do it.
awesome. Yes.
DM me.
Yes. Yes. What?
So, how do these episodes go down? Well, they usually start off with Leo and Layla complaining or talking about a subject
I'm doing
that
all
leads
this.
into the necessity of a history lesson through Layla's magical time-traveling phone app. Now, they don't explain anything about their ability to time travel. It's just there. Stop asking perfectly reasonable questions. Let's get going. I also want to highlight how insufferable Leo and Layla are.
Oh,
First
God.
off, they're not characters. They're props.
Yeah.
Also, they somehow have like super specific knowledge about historical figures and events, or have no clue whatsoever.
You're fighting Hitler? I know he's one of history's biggest bad guys, but what did he do again?
Layla,
Really?
do you not know about Hitler? She's like, OMG, Winston Churchill. It's him. But like, Winston, who's this Hitler guy and what did he do wrong?
And Germany decides again to go to war, and again it chooses as its enemy the world.
Yeah.
And this time they have that guy, Schrankly, Crankly, that guy. And
We need Norm Macdonald to teach history. We needed him. He was the history teacher we all needed. Seriously. He died too soon.
Also, fuck this banner at the bottom of these videos.
Oh
It's
my
super
God.
annoying. So Leo and Layla inexplicably can time travel. But what's worse is how unfazed these historical figures are when the kids arrive.
They're like, what the
They
fuck?
act more like LARPers pretending to be historical figures, if anything.
What he meant to say, kids, is that we
Yeah.
fancy door code, because in our time, we got to rely on woodlocks and such. God damn it, you people are fucking insane!
I've picked a handful of episodes to talk about in particular.
Yep.
Let's start off with
Yes, you
Alexander
are.
Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton. Yeah, you
Oh,
know
no.
the thing. This one is an example of playing it safe. The episode starts off with
Alexander
Leo joining a
Hamilton.
history club and wanting to campaign for a leadership position. But he feels like he might be just a bit too young for the position. Enter Hamilton, the first Secretary of Treasury of the United States. Now, relative to the other founding fathers of the time, Hamilton was pretty progressive and accomplished quite a lot in a
Yeah.
very short amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leo is getting lectured by him. At the end, Leo is like, "You're right, Mr. Hamilton. I'll be just like you." Though it'd be funny if Leo was like, except for like getting shot, I
Yeah.
won't die like you. Goodbye. And Hamilton's like, "Wait, what?" Shot? We
That'd be
talking about-
hilarious.
that is a weird part of the time traveling aspect of the series. What about the historical continuity? Does the time traveling create a butterfly effect? The historical figures, once again, act like this stuff is normal. Oh, hello, Leo and Layla.
Come
We just
on.
missed the talking dog and his son just a few minutes ago. All in all, the Hamilton episode is a good example of a harmless episode, since
Really?
Hamilton himself, though a very complicated and fallible man, is not an outright monster. I wonder if they'll keep that trend
Oh,
going.
no.
Next, there's Thomas Edison.
Oh, no.
Okay, it could be worse. You think they'll address the elephant in the room? Actually, I read about this.
awful.
Apparently, that was false. I don't know. I need to look more into it.
Really?
Maybe the episode will let me know. It doesn't.
Okay, good.
So Leo in this episode wants to invent a phone charging shoe or something like that.
Oh, my
I don't know,
God.
it's stupid. So I
It's-
guess he and Layla go to Edison for help. They're lucky that Edison did not steal their idea. He probably saw it and was like, "Ooh, time traveling. Has it been patented yet? I can do that for you." Now, this
What?
episode
Get
is
the-
mostly a rose-tinted rundown of Edison and his contributions with inventing.
What about
the
Nikola
light bulb.
Tesla?
Though, hey, credit where credit is due. The episode does state that Edison did not outright invent the light bulb, but he did help it to go mainstream. Also, I like how Leo won the contest with his shoe. I gotta say, that trophy, I want that trophy. Good
Great job.
It's like a, some asset from a program, just, Microsoft painted over.
Right? Great job!
Then there's the episode about the peace treaty between Egypt and Israel.
Oh, no!
I don't care how you spin this episode. No kid is going to care about this.
First of all,
most adults don't even care about this.
Conservative retelling of all that? What?
It makes me think about that old Rage comic with, I'm Justin Bieber. And they're like, who cares? Well, hello there. Oh my God! Menahem between the Prime Minister of Israel from 1977 to 1983. He's here? Oh my God! Then there's an episode about John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, which is the best episode there is. Why? Because there's actual friction in this episode.
Really?
In this one, Leo and Layla get into a fight and accidentally get transported to July 4th, 1811. Folks, I'm just going to say it. Probably not the best outcome that your phone can just randomly time travel an accident. Leo, get off my phone! Stop! Oh! Where are we? When are we? Oh. This is worse than that one time during December 7th, 1941.
It would have been worse, honestly.
In this episode, Jefferson and Adams are acting like complete divas, which, hey, is 100% historically accurate. AKA, finally, something good in the episode to work with.
Really?
Adams? Jefferson?
Oh yeah, they hated each other.
Everybody. Quit boring everyone!
So for those who don't know, Adams and Jefferson were good friends prior to them running against each other during the election of 1800.
But
they both talked shit about each other, as a politician does, and were at odds for some time after the election. John Adams even skipped out on Jefferson's inaugural speech because he was just so pissed off about his loss.
Wow.
The two eventually reconciled via letters. So the idea of leveraging that into Leo and Layla having a fight is not a bad idea. It's just funny as all because when John Adams died, his last words were, "Thomas Jefferson survives." I can only imagine the same for Leo, being like, Layla survives. Only that Layla died a few hours beforehand. Oh, history. You wildin' out.
I know, right?
And then we got the most egregious episode of all.
Oh, no.
Christopher Columbus.
Wait, I thought we did that.
Oh, the dislikes on this episode.
Good.
It starts off super awkward, with Leo and Layla feeling weird about their feelings about Columbus Day. Once more, what 8-year-old child would be Googling about Columbus?
Who the hell cares?
Against Columbus says he was a really mean guy who spread slavery, disease, and violence to people who would have been better off if he'd never gone to the New World.
These people have never met an 8-year-old kid. My 8-year-old nephew is more concerned about when he gets to play Spider-Man 2 on the PS5 again. That is his biggest concern. Why the hell would he even care about Columbus Day? I'm trying to learn him, but still, he's 8.
Ouch.
Especially because it conflicts with his moral fiber. That doesn't make sense. Kids are playing video games. They're hanging out.
No,
they're not Googling about Columbus.
Don't care.
That's stupid. So Leo and Layla go to the source and talk to Columbus himself.
God.
Just a really sweet guy. You had to know him, folks. You just gotta know him. I like how Columbus, when he first sees Leo and Layla, was like, who let the slaves out from the lower decks?
Right?
I'm not joking. He even calls them Indians. This guy is just that stupid.
I mean, historically accurate. From the day until the day he died, he thought he had reached India.
This is me. What, you from the future?
How'd you guess?
Either that or Indians? I've kinda had a hard time telling who's what lately.
And so it begins. Columbus apologist rant number 1.
What?
He was a go-getter. He studied so much. He
God.
was courageous and explored so he can bring back spices to Europe.
God.
But only because he really wanted to explore.
I'm now sailing back
Trump
to
won the
Spain to show
2020
all
election, right?
kinds of amazing things I found and tell of the wonders of the lands I've seen.
What kind of amazing things, Columbus? You said you would bring gold. You didn't.
Nope.
And then you had to find something else to make up for it.
Slaves.
Huh. What could that be? What possibly could you have brought instead?
Slaves.
What are those terrible cries of pain from below deck? Hey, don't you worry about that. Leo's about to grill Columbus.
Okay, now that we have the backstory, we've got some questions. There are a lot of people in our time upset about how you acted once you found all these amazing things in these new lands.
Ah, that's right. You said I'm controversial.
Again, what a weird hill to die on.
I know, right?
To try and rationalize the devastation of Columbus. There's even a moment where he's like, oh, some of these natives were peaceful and smart. But Columbus is on record where he said, quote, they do not bear arms and do not know them. For I showed them a sword that took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They have no iron. Their spears are made of cane. They would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want. End quote.
That's your Columbus, people!
Yeah, you know, just folks, just a swell and normal person. At this time in the episode, Columbus flips the script with the accusations, goes on the attack, claiming that the natives were the savages and weren't a pillar of morality.
Hey, all the things that are bad in the world I come from, jealousy, lying, murder, war.
Oh my
it
God.
all exists in the land I just found too. But in Europe we draw the line at things like eating people and human sacrifice.
Oh my God. Listen, I'm just like any other red-blooded European.
How can you be so
we
ignorant?
Draw the line at cannibalism.
Yeah. You know, you want to know something about that? Even the queen who sent him there, well, Queen Elizabeth of France, or whatever queen was there. But I remember the queen was disgusted by what he did. And he was locked up for it for a little bit. But, you know, there was so much love and support for him that they had to let him go. Europe is fucking weird.
But the warring, enslaving, pillaging, raping, murdering, and disease spreading, that was just the way things were at the time. And I was a normal person.
Oh my God.
Some things are clearly bad, no matter when they happen. But for other things, before you judge, you must ask yourself, what did the culture and society of the time treat as no big deal?
It's just so funny how defensive Columbus gets. He's like, do you think you're better than me? Just because I took advantage of natives, cut off their hands, stripped them down, and made them freeze to death during a 10-year voyage across the Atlantic?
Yes, we
Get
are.
off your high horse, Leo and Layla.
Jesus.
Also, it's funny to hear Columbus use God and missionary work to excuse himself, and then be like, it's better to be a slave than murdered. Buddy, you did
both, right?
Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no? I don't see the problem.
Then Leo and Layla are like, slavery is over during our times. And Columbus is like, oh, thank God. I totally wish I could have participated, but you gotta understand. I wanted to make money and hurt people. And then he gets indignant that he's being judged.
But you said you're from 500 years in the future? How can you come here to the 15th century and judge me by your standards from the 21st century?
Oh my God.
Again, it's just so funny to hear Columbus bring up being a Christian as a shield and how it conflicts with his beliefs.
MAGA!
You know, I could have sworn there was like a story in the Bible about like this Jewish people being enslaved by Egyptians and how that was wrong. What was that story?
I wondered
can't
that was there
remember.
too.
Nostalgia Critic covered it recently. Ask him. At the end, Columbus is like, don't judge me. Judge the cultural status quo of the time I existed in. And you know what? Sure, yeah, you're still a bad dude. You participated in slavery and genocide. Even your colleagues from your time thought you were a monster and a bad businessman on top of that, too. You even got arrested for tax evasion, got arrested by the royalty of Spain, and for some reason, they were like, oh, you know what? Get out of here, you scamp. Go off on another expedition.
I told you!
What's the worst that can happen?
You're a courageous explorer, and you've given me a lot to think about.
You stupid little shit!
You're welcome, kids. Now, let me lock you up and show you to the King and Queen of Spain.
What?
Yeah, PragerU. Trying to rationalize slavery, conquest, murder, it's not a good look. Leo and Layla are obviously pro-American propaganda. But even this is a hard sell. Columbus is just that abhorrent. Now, I understand the argument of social norms during periods of history. Thankfully, times have changed, and mostly for the better, too. But to only highlight the good, to dismiss the bad, which we can learn from, and then to get defensive of social norms from the time? It's a mask-off moment done in bad faith and just unbelievably ignorant.
Wow.
It makes one wonder if it can get any worse than Columbus. Yeah, right? Good luck with that. Good luck topping that one. I can't think of another person who is more worshipped by Prager. Oh.
Well.
Oh, no.
I miss voting for that man.
Well, here we go. This episode starts off with Leo just destroying a neighbor's property. There's no explanation why. He just destroys it. I'm not kidding. He's like, I'm doing it because Reagan tore down the Berlin Wall.
Oh my!
I'm just like him.
Well,
then
whatever.
comes a wave of so much dick riding that you would think that Richard Nixon's wife was in office.
He didn't.
We then time travel to 1889, an ancient time, and Leo is at the Berlin Wall. And
I was born in '89. In fact, this wall came down 2 days after I was born. 2 days, I think. I was born November 8th, so, and I think it was brought down November 11th or the 10th. I don't remember.
Layla gets teleported somewhere else. She's like walking around like a South Park
Reagan
character.
Ranch.
I don't get it. Leo then talks to Reagan and highlights all of his international and domestic policies. Well, not all of them, just the, quote-unquote good ones. Anti-communism, Reaganomics, and ending the Cold War, to name a few.
Reaganomics was terrible.
Reagan discontinuing federal funding to mental hospitals. Not going to mention that. What about getting involved in Central American politics?
Yep.
Going around the back of Congress? No? Not going to mention the high treason? Well, okay.
But the sails were uncovered by the press. Reagan and North began to stress. Because what they did was technically high treason. But it was totally justified.
PragerU has a narrative here. And it's...
So, wow. Reagan and Trump really are similar. Both of them committed treason. Wow.
It's not to properly educate people about history. It is to massage the ego of American patriotism.
Patriotism.
By omission.
Patriotism.
That is a disservice to the truth.
Patriotism.
Folks, we can have conversations about the accomplishments of historical figures, but we can also acknowledge that not everybody was a saint. But that can only go so far. Columbus? Absolute buffoonery. Pick a new character. There was an episode of King of the Hill that was able to approach this in a nuanced way.
Of course.
And it was how I learned to stop worrying and
I gotta
love
watch
the
this
Alamo.
show.
In this episode, Bobby gets a new Texas history book, but it barely mentions the Alamo. Hank is outraged, as the Texas patriot that he is, and gets the chance to showcase an Alamo play with another concerned parent, who ends up bastardizing the play with historical revisionism. At the end, even though Hank wanted to stop the play, he allowed it, because these folks had the right to say what they wanted to. That is their constitutional right. He did, however, set the stage. This is how you do it. You can admire the actions of individuals, even though they are a product of their time. You can also acknowledge their courage and bravery, but also bring up the less than savory things they did. Anything else would be a disservice to the truth. Leo and Layla do not care about the truth. They only care about making America look good.
We're called the United States for a reason. And our citizens need to always remember that being an American is special.
Then why is it the conservatives always want to leave the Union then? It's always them. Like, they're watching this whole bullcrap about it, but why are they always trying to leave the Union? You know why? Because they're not patriots, they're hatriots. Or fake-triots, you know? They don't really love America. They just want to feel, they don't want to feel bad about what their people did. That's it. They don't even love their country. They're like, oh, America, and like, but you know, they don't want to acknowledge the mistakes that America made. Trust me, I also hate the liberals on my side who say I hate America. I've run into them. I literally was on a date one time where a girl was like, I hate America, and she was a younger girl, and I left. I didn't even like she was talking some ignorant, but you know, it was ridiculous. So, I mean, I can understand where people are coming from, but when you try to elect people, or you try to ignore that fact, or you try to put people there who don't belong there, aka Trump, I will say it, then I got a problem with it.
And should be a source of pride and patriotism.
I think people in our time need to take your advice.
Shut up.
So, what are my overall thoughts about Leo and Layla? Well, let's break it down.
Shit.
I suppose we'll start with the most obvious point of contention. It's crappy animation. I mean, it's hard to even call it animation, since it's more like cardboard cutouts being tweened across the screen.
It's like South Park put more effort into it in 1997.
You would think, with the advantage of going back in time with historical figures, the showrunners would take advantage of numerous sets and scenes for our characters. But no! It's usually Leo and Layla standing in one place, asking questions and going, golly gee willikers, I didn't know that, as their arms flail around.
How can a king break the law? I thought kings made the laws.
Great question, young man.
Design-wise, I've seen worse. Leo and Layla being pink and blue kind of clashes with the historical figures, but, you know, whatever. But the movement of their body, their mouths, the composition of the scenes, it's all so stale and idle. Do something! I mean, sure, you get some flashbacks that show the historical figure of that episode doing said thing, but even those moments are just as static and boring. It is wild to me that one can find original, independently driven animated shorts on YouTube for free.
Right? And they put more effort.
More dynamic and satisfying than this Leo and Layla schlock.
Ridiculous.
What should we name him?
Maybe something like, Maggot?
Whoa. Ronald Reagan, the actor, became president?
Yeah, a really good one, too.
What about the voice acting?
Please.
Nice to meet you, Leo. I'm here in Berlin to stop the communists and end the Cold War.
And also commit high treason.
That's your Ronald Reagan impersonation?
Jesus.
Bro, I can do better than that. Tear down this wall.
Tear down this wall.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, hey, I suck after all. But come on.
It's not better than that.
Layla don't fare any better. Just stiff performances across the board.
Also, I'm sorry.
Layla don't fare any...
That face is terrifying. That face is absolutely freaking terrifying. God, I've seen that in my nightmares.
Better. Just stiff performances across the board. The deliveries come across as very insincere, brainless, and condescending. Wow, that's Ronald Reagan? I sure love Ronald Reagan. He was the president. Wow, jelly beans.
I brought jelly beans.
Leo, thank you. That's my favorite snack.
But unsurprisingly, it's the writing that's the main culprit. The main characters, the historical characters, just everything about this show is boring. Like I said, Leo and Layla are more like props than anything, which is a damn shame, because history has a lot of potential as a plot device. I love history. There are so many incredible and fascinating things to learn about the past of humanity. Some good, mostly bad, but all worth remembering. And in the hopes that we are improving as a species. There was a time where public executions were an event you took the family to. Nowadays, we take them to go see Despicable Me 4. Okay, some things have not changed.
No.
Jokes aside, to cherry pick only the praiseworthy accomplishments from historical figures and to view history through rose-tinted glasses is a massive disservice to history as a whole. I remember being a little kid in the 6th grade and reading a book about Colonel Custer.
Yeah, I was about to say,
and his
that's
valiant
Custer.
last stand. How he went down swinging with his men bravely against the overwhelming forces of the savage Indians. Wow, I thought at the time.
I wonder.
What a hero!
What a
then
hero.
I discovered the truth later
was
on
a
in
murdering
life.
psychopath.
Much like Columbus, this guy too was a monster who slaughtered unarmed women and children.
There it is.
He was an instrument of destruction and violated multiple treaties against native tribes.
Yep.
And at the end, his hubris would be his downfall.
There you
He
go.
got spanked by the Native Americans.
Good.
Now, I bring this up for 2 main reasons. Number 1, guess how old this guy was? Go on, look at him. Take a guess. You're wrong. He was 36.
It's weird.
Man,
he was
you
weirdly
look
young.
rough for 36. I wonder why. Number 2, history painted this man as a glorified hero.
Fuckers.
And I fell for it as a kid. In reality, he was a pompous, egotistical man who murdered innocent people. And that is where Leo and Layla strike out. It lies through omission.
Oh, no.
It really only shares the positive impacts
I
of
thought they were
certain
gonna do
historical
that.
figures. And even then, that's up for debate. There are a lot of mask-off moments in the show. Sure, Columbus was a murderous slave owner who often betrayed his own men. But he kind of discovered America?
He didn't,
So
actually.
who cares? America!
He didn't even discover America. He landed on the island of the Bahamas. So no, he never got anywhere close to America. Well, okay, he was close, but not on the mainland. There was a different Italian guy who did it. Why aren't we remembering him? Or, hey, happy Leif Erikson Day!
It's the American flag! It's the American flag!
In my opinion, you got to take the good with the bad. Have some shame with your pride. George Washington could have become the de facto king of America.
Yes, he could have.
And ruled until the end of his days. But he stepped down. Only one president in American history has ever had more than 2 terms.
Because he was awesome. He was probably one of the best presidents we've ever had. It's not a Republican. It was a Democrat.
And that was because we were in the middle of World War II. Washington set a precedent that is still observed to this very day. And it prevents a lone person from ever becoming the lifelong leader of the United States. However, George was also a slave owner, and we cannot dismiss that fact. By the way, and this is not sponsored, I highly recommend Washington, A Life by Ron Chernow for a full-on biography of George's life. It is exceptionally good. And it shows how complicated and conflicted a person like George was. But I digress. I don't want to hear excuses for Columbus or omissions for other historical figures. PragerU has some nerve to be in the camp of, they're erasing our history, but then feel Leo and Layla that ironically erases history. I wish they'd delete their phone app instead.
Should have kept my mouth shut.
Yeah.
In conclusion, Leo and Layla is just another miserable addition to the crappy world of conservative cartoons.
Why are they better animated here than in the actual show? It's so weird. They look more lifelike in that wallpaper or whatever. Wallpaper.
Once more.
Are you looking for an easy way to view and manage your mail and packages from anywhere, 24/7? Well,
Once more, I am working on a video covering this topic in the future.
Oh, please.
Shocker! It'll come out during the elections in 2024.
What?
But as someone who grew up in a Christian and conservative household, I've had my fair share of being in a targeted demographic. And in my opinion, both audiences, which often overlap, tend to get the bottom of the barrel results. Why? Because for a lot of parents, they don't care about quality. They don't see these shows through the eyes of being a child. Instead, they're easily swayed, scared, and or conned into buying these shows and subscription services because they are in line with my values and beliefs. Sure, that's fine. Do that if you want. Vote with your wallet. That is your choice to make. But look me in the eyes and honestly tell me that these shows are actually good. Based on the merit of entertainment, engagement, laughter, inspiration, quality, design, sincerity. Will they actually endure for years to come? Nope. Or were they just a flash in the pan to convince you to buy a subscription service that makes you think that you're making a difference? Personally, kids nowadays barely even watch cartoons anymore and are more obsessed with YouTube, TikTok, gaming, and streaming.
True.
Even good shows are struggling, let alone garbage like Leo and Layla. Ironically, no one will even remember this cartoon, even if you have a time-traveling phone app. But if you want to at least make a statement, make it good. Make it entertaining.
Nope.
It's a
There's
show,
no effort.
first and foremost. But if your prerogative is to immediately pander via propped-up characters, then I doubt you'll last long. One of the best ways to shut up critics is to make a good show above all else. That is why I will forever sing to the heavens of the quality of the original VeggieTales.
Yeah, I
Bob
saw that.
and Larry are fantastic.
Yeah.
The biblical stories were fun. And hell, you even got a Christian message. But it wasn't being shoved down my throat. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I know atheists who love VeggieTales. Why? Because it was good. It did not get caught up in the weeds of pushing an overt message. It was more concerned about making something that was quality. If you build it, they will come. But if you try to shove it down their throats, they're going to choke and watch something else. I recently watched a few episodes of an alleged Mormon ripoff of Rick and Morty called Saving Me. I'm skeptical, but the first episode was solid.
Really?
It was well animated, an actual story-driven plot, and there were even a few funny jokes. Wow, right? Who would have guessed that when it comes to the entertainment industry, that people want to be, I don't know, entertained, not boring-ass history lessons that lie through omission. Instead of Leo and Layla, watch Peabody and Sherman. At least it has a talking dog. Instead of Mr. Bertram, watch King of the Hill. There is integrity there. Instead of Chipchilla, watch Bluey. Need I say more? These are superior options beyond a shadow of a doubt. Conservatives are more than welcome to make their own media that demonstrates their beliefs and values.
But make it good!
Guess what?
You have a piece missing.
And that piece is quality. So if the best you got is trying to rationalize the heinous crimes of a once celebrated but now understandably condemned historical figure, then yeah, you might want to go back to the drawing board.
You lost the battle.
Download a different app. Hey, maybe you can go back in time and prevent yourself from making this garbage in the first place.
Maybe.
You'll be doing the world a favor.
We can just use my new time travel app.
Stop it!
Here and away we go.
This is annoying.
Let me get the settings right before you do.
Yes. Thank you. Oh, good Lord. God, that was painful. Oh my God. Oh. Good Lord, I don't think I've ever been in so much pain. I don't think I've ever rolled my eyes so much in a long time. That is the power of conservative media. Let me know what you guys think in my first Saberspark video, technically. Because I already watched the Mr. Bertram one, and that one's coming out after this one. So, Let me, depending on how successful this one is. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of this review. Let me know about the, let me know if I should do more of these Saberspark videos. And please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content. And subscribe if you think I deserve it. And remember, check out my Patreon. I'm also doing House of the Dragon tonight. And if you're missing that, get on it. And I'll see you all in the next video.